All right, so what's going on, y'all? Let's get right into this. Um, if you use TikTok, which most of us do, there is a story about TikTok dad, a single dad who wanted to have a slumber party for his daughter. I will play the video here in a moment, and also a follow-up video he did where he talks about how he understands why the necessary the mothers didn't trust him. Now, before we get into that particular story, you can fast forward to his video if you want to. I just want to give my point of view. And I feel like my point of view is very good in this instance because I am a single father of a girl. My daughter's almost 18. She'll be 18 next year. But growing up, it was just me and her for the majority of the time. I got custody of my daughter when she was, let me rephrase that. I got full custody of my daughter a little bit before she was 2. I had primary custody before that. And that just shows that if I'm a black man in the South and I got custody of my daughter relatively early, that shows what kind of mother she really had. Fortunately, we don't always choose the best partners, and sometimes the worst partners choose us because they don't want to let us go. I never wanted kids, but since I had a kid, I want to make sure I stepped up to the plate and did the best possible job I could with my daughter. And right now, she's an honors student, might be valedictorian. So I think I did a pretty good job so far. It wasn't always easy though. Now, with that being said, I had to tell my daughter when she was very young that there are certain things that she just won't be able to do because I'm a single dad. Now, I was married for a brief. I was seeing somebody got married there, and that relationship lasted for about 5 years. But she was already about to be a teenager when that happened, and she was a preteen when that brief period happened. And that's another story for itself. But for the time from when she was like a baby up until like elementary school and going into middle school, I told her that, hey, I'm not doing any sleepovers. You're not having any friends come over to my house. Mainly because I'm a single dad and I just don't want any problems, any troubles, or anything along those lines. I had to tell her that ever since she was a little kid because I had the understanding that not everybody's going to trust their kid with a single man. They're automatically going to ask questions. Why is he single? Why isn't the mother involved? All this other kind of stuff. Yada, 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 yada. So I just had to tell my daughter, look, I understand that your friends, they can't come over. And on the flip side of that, I said that you can't go over there. In fact, I didn't let my daughter stay at night at a friend's house until she was 16 years old. Mainly because I figured at 16, she wouldn't be scared or intimidated to tell me if something were to happen. In addition to, she could just simply drive herself away, contact me, etc., etc. She I had a good idea what kind of man I am at that particular point, and how I don't necessarily play with that. Now, did I have sleepovers when I was a kid? Absolutely. Was that the best thing in the world? No. In fact, this is to tell a brief story. One of my best friends, I stayed a night at his house quite often, and his mother was a single mom. Now, here's the thing: women can be predators too. With that being said, his mother came home drunk one night, and I remember I was sleeping in the living room on the pull-out bed. I didn't want to sleep in my friend's room. I don't remember why that particular time. Anyways, when she came home from going out from the club, because keep in mind we were in elementary school and she was going out to the club and to bars and stuff. She came home drunk out her mind, maybe on something else. Saw me on the bed, came to the bed, sat on the bed, and kissed me in an adult way. That was my first real adult kiss when I was not even in middle school, I don't think. So we never talked about it, never discussed it, but it was one of those things that was it appropriate? Hell no. But it's one of those things. Women can be predators. They don't be seen that way though. We give women a lot of leeway. And this isn't a man against woman thing. It's just that anybody can be a predator at any point in time in life. And when my daughter got older, I remember she had a friend I used to work with. Uh, and that woman I used to work with, was a she was a very attractive woman to the point that me and her were talking, and I thought about dating her, but when she told me what her goals and aspirations were, I decided not to pursue that further. But surprisingly enough, our daughters ended up going to the same school, becoming good friends. She asked me because she stayed at night, because excuse me, because she asked me could my daughter stay at night, and I said no. And the main reason I said no is uh, because of who she married. Now, keep in mind, she married a guy she didn't really know. I remember one day after me and her, we decided not to date or whatever, and she started talking to another guy. Within a month, she married him and moved her daughter and her into his house. Rich man, by the way. I didn't like that. And I was like, I was just thinking to myself, I didn't say it to her. And I was just thinking to myself, well, you don't really know this man. How do you know he's not a creep or, you know, uh, the man that is harms people, etc., etc. You don't know what kind of man this is. And automatically after a year, I was like, nah, I'm good. But she wanted that lifestyle, and she got that rich lifestyle. Anyways, so when I see another grown man acting the way he does, and when I say acting the way he does, I'll address that at the end. But he's getting upset because women don't want to have his kids stay the night. I understand that. You gotta think about it. As a parent, at least I did when my daughter was younger. Anytime she would hang out with a friend, and I was normally there, but I would still look up their parents. I would check out their parents' Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I would do Ben Verified. I don't know if it's still an app now where you can look up people's background. I would go to the court clerk's websites. I would go to jail view. I would go everywhere possible just to see what kind of parents they were and what kind of record they have. And if you look at this little thumbnail right here that I made up in the top right hand corner, it might be on your left hand side, but on the top right hand corner on my screen, you see um, you see his mugshot, and we'll go over that too. But let's go ahead and play his original video that got him so much attention across the United States.
So like last year, I was trying to throw my daughter like a slumber party, and once again, no woman lives in the household. It's just me and my daughter, and like I communicated with one of the mothers, like just to see if she can get the ball rolling because she know a bunch of more mothers and whatnot. And then I asked, do she feel comfortable having? And as I was talking, she straight up interrupted me. No, I don't feel comfortable with that at all. And like I said, because I'm a man, and she was honest, and I respect her honesty. She was like, yes, and I'm like, that really made me that really did make me feel some type of way. So I expressed my not even frustration. I was really sad, and I expressed.
And you know what? Depending on the girls' ages, I won't even say depending on the girls' ages, young women have issues that men really have no business dealing with. Um, like I said, I was a single dad for the longest time. So when it came to potty training, that was all me. When it came to uh, helping my daughter through her period, that was all me. So it's one of those things that I wish I had a woman in my life doing those milestones to help teach her that, but I had to learn on my own. So with that being said, let's say that if one of the girls standing right there and she accidentally has, I won't say accidentally, this her body just tells her it's time for her to have her first period. Him being a man, he won't necessarily be the most equipped for that and may not know what to do. And I know that's kind of weird saying that, he has a daughter, but you don't know what the other parents may want done in that particular situation. So it's just little things like that. Girls are very sensitive in some areas. Some could be, it's just a male handling a girl is a lot different. I had to soften myself up a lot with my daughter because I was a very different man before I became a girl dad. So uh, for him to feel any type of way is kind of weird to me.
My I expressed that with other women, and they was like, well, Mark Anthony, you got to see where she coming from, and blah blah blah, this and that and whatnot. And like, and I do understand like where women coming from, but it just hurt my feelings to know that me, just as a man, I get labeled as that. And like I would never do nothing like that to like I would never do nothing like that to kids, because like when I was growing up, like it was a situation, like I try to make jokes about it and whatnot, and like, long story short, it happened to me, but by a woman. And like, and I just remember that feeling as I got older, and when I was younger, like I would never do that to a child, and just know that like I couldn't even throw my daughter like a slumber party is because like they think I'ma do what somebody did to me, which was a woman, by the way, and like that shit made me damn near like cry for real, bro. Because I'm like, I'm just trying to like have my daughter, but as it's that shit just made me really feel some type of way.
Now, you are entitled to your own feelings in life, right? And that's perfectly fine. But I will say this, that he does sound a little feminine in this video, right? Um, which is fine. Maybe he was raised by a woman. I don't know. But whenever you looked at other videos of his, he took down a lot of them. There was a lot of videos of him dancing and things of that nature that this seemed very inappropriate. On top of that, whenever you go here, and I found this on the internet, um, that's his full name, his date of birth. But the most important part here is domestic. You see that word? I can't say it because it's YouTube. Battery, child endangerment, and false imprisonment. Now he does go into another follow-up video, it's like 10 minutes long, where he talks about how what kind of a woman his child's mother was, and I don't disbelieve him, to be honest with you, because my child's mother was not the best person in the world, and I understand when you're dealing with a woman that may not be all mentally there, that she will do and say things to set you up to get her way because and it's flat out lie. And it happens a lot. There's a lot of instances where men have been false in prison because of lies that women have told, because they will play those crocodile tears. I think in his case, his ex was white, so those white women crocodile tears, they can do some serious damage. Men have lost their lives because of it. But let's go ahead and play this other follow-up video that I was talking about.
Second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, on her way to sixth grade, I still got my daughter. And I don't let my daughter out of.
And if you notice, he's wearing a shirt. You kind of see it more in some of the other videos. It's like the trans flag, the bisexual flag, and all this other kind of stuff. So it's, again, you got to think about it. You have these videos on the internet that are not necessarily appropriate, and you never know what girls could come across that and see that. He has a past. Even though I do think that his past, he may be innocent of, this based off how he described the child's mother, doesn't necessarily a parent want to take a chance on that. If I saw a parent of one of my daughter's friends and they had those accusations about that, I would straight up ask them about it. And depending on the conversation, I may not even let my daughter interact with that person anymore. And it's not because that I would necessarily judge the kid. It's just the fact that trauma is transferable. And sometimes when that little girl is dealing with a traumatic parent, that can leach on from the parent to the daughter to the friend, which is could be your kid. So, and they can ask questions, have conversations that they may not want. They can see how he interacts on the internet. They may not want their kid interacting with that type of man. You just don't know. And then there's just always the outright that you just don't trust people. And I don't blame nobody for not trusting people. I have a very, 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 very small amount of people that I trust. So small, if I lost two fingers on my right hand, I'll still have too many fingers of how many people I can actually trust in this world. And that's just my opinion of it. But let's go ahead and finish up this video.
My sight, because I don't want my daughter to experience what her mother experienced and what she already previously experienced and what I also experienced. So my whole point of saying this, if I can't trust her mother, I'm definitely not just going to be open to trust another woman or another man. I have to build up that rapport with those people in order to trust my daughter with them. I never said I don't understand or I'm confused or why the mothers won't let their daughter sleep over. I said I fully understand that. I'm not asking the mothers to trust me at all. I'm asking to earn their trust. That's why I went to PTO meetings. That's why I did the carpool. That's why I'm very involved with the school. That's why I volunteer at this school. I knew these mothers for from second through fifth grade. So once again, I understand their hesitation with a man, but at the same time, everybody's saying, "Oh, what are women at in their life? What are women at in their life?" And I'm pointing it out. It don't matter who it can be. If you're not gonna trust anybody, don't trust no one. And shout out to all the mothers that want to protect their child and the safety of their child. That's why I was trying to do the same thing too. That's why I felt more comfortable hosting and knowing what happened in the past. But I completely understand why they don't trust me. And with that, that's why I was trying to earn the mother's trust. And like, that's pretty much it. I just hope everybody see where I'm coming from now. Like, I just try to keep my daughter close to me. I don't like letting my daughter out of my sight at all.
And I don't blame him. I don't like letting my daughter out of my sight either, but that's part of life. But what are some alternatives that you could potentially do? Let's say, for example, that they're just like, nah, I don't feel comfortable my daughter stay the night. Why not invite the mothers to stay over too? Like, hey, I want to have a sleepover for my daughter. I know I'm a single dad. Why don't you come stay the night too? We just all make a night of it. We can have a parent sleepover and a kid sleepover. The kids could be in my daughter's room. I can set y'all up in the living room or the guest room, whatever you may have. I don't know its layout or situation, and we just all just hang out together at night. That I feel like that would be a really good compromise. If somebody may have offered that to me, I might say okay. Uh, what is another alternative? Like, okay, cool, we can't do a sleepover, but how about we just do? There's a lot of skating rings. Well, at least they used to when I was younger. Skating rings. They will host lock-ins to where kids will stay the night at a skating rink all night. You can't. It's an all-night skate. You can go there with your kids, and sometimes the parents are there. They can watch, you can interact, and have fun, things like that. Or bounce houses, I think they're called, where they're like the giant trampolines. They can just go out there and just stay late because a lot of those bounce houses are open really late, which would be a close thing. So it's one of those things you gotta be transparent with your daughter and let her know, hey, some things you just can't do with your dad. It just won't look right, and I'm sorry you're gonna miss out on these experience. I had a conversation with my own daughter, but then you guys like, you know what? Even though I may not be able to give you this, or you may not have this experience, let me see if other opportunities that we could do for you, so you won't feel like you're missing out completely. But that's my thoughts and opinion on this. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, or whatever you're watching it. It's night right now. All right, have a good one. Bye.